Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself. And tonight I have maybe not so much notice as one can well imagine. In fact, actually, I've got to turn off my internet here from my phone, just so my bandwidth is not quite what it used to be. So, people, okay. As we know, there is an awful lot going on in the world right now. We understand that these are grave times, dynamic times, dramatic times, unusual times, strange times. And thank you for many of you who tuned into the show on Saturday. The show was a great success. Many of you watched, and I think that was actually one of our biggest audiences for a Saturday. Today is a Monday, so I'm not expecting quite the same numbers, but there's still quite a few here. And okay, so what's today's show about? We know what's dominating the news cycle at the moment because, of course, we're dealing with Ukraine. Also, as well, can everyone just let me know if they can hear me? Okay, yeah, just give me a thumbs up, or just let me know that you can hear me. All right. This show is going to be quite dynamic. I'm going to try and keep it to an hour or maybe slightly less. And I've been preparing all day. I mean, I don't know about everyone else, but this has just taken up so much intellectual bandwidth. Do you know what I mean? What a situation that we find ourselves in. Oh, great. So you can hear me. Thank you, guys. And I'm going to do something quite special tonight and something quite unusual. And as the title of this video implies, I'm going to look at three presidents today. Three. And I'm going to compare them. So I'm going to be looking at Zelensky, going to be looking at Putin, and we're going to be looking at Biden. And in the sub sort of like title or at least on the thumbnail, I said these are the three fated men. Yes, these are the three fated men of history at the moment. Of course, there's other people involved, but you know what I mean. And I don't think that is hyperbole to actually say that, because we are in very dramatic times. As you all know, I have been talking about for a while now the Kala Sarpa Yoga, which is when, of course, all the planets are on one side of the nodes of the moon. Do you remember I was talking about that? I'm actually going to show that in a chart today, actually. And I've been talking as well about the zigzag. And what it means is, it means we are in very fated times, very fated times. Saturn as a planet is immensely strong, which means karma is speeding up for everyone and everything. Like I said, now it doesn't mean it's always bad karma, you know, it can be good karma as well, but karma all round. Yeah. So there's going to be that. And I'm going to talk as well, because we're also going to compare 4 countries as well. So we're going to compare Russia, Ukraine, USA, and China. Yeah, so this is an ambitious show that I'm putting on, but I think I found quite an elegant way to do it. Now, before I begin, let me just do a few shout outs for people who have joined me here. So thank you guys for joining me. I mean, on the Monday evening, it's a bit of a push, you know, at 5 p.m. for a lot of people. And those of you who are, on the west coast of the USA, it's probably the morning. And then for people who are in Europe, you know, it'd be deep into the night. But, you know, sometimes you just got to do these things. But I didn't want to clash too much with other people. So who do we have that has joined us in? So we've got Teresa Levine, Marvel Johnson. Thank you so much. Anna Pham Cooks. Camilla Katuti, who's that? Angela Schaefer, Gwen, we've got Miriam, Linda, Franny, Plucky, and many more. All of you are starting to come in. And what I'll do is I'll do a combination of presentation and then, of course, trying to put up some of your comments as well in the meantime. Right. Without further ado, Of course, this is a rapidly evolving international story. And I just want to give you an update, or at least based on what I've been able to glean from UK news, of where things are at right now. So in regards to Ukraine and Russia, because we know we've got these sanctions and all this stuff coming in, and my goodness, this is all starting to pile up. Okay. Right. Before I get onto those stats, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here. I'm going to show you this chart here now. Let's just see, make sure you can see that. Yeah, it's sort of so. All right, there it is. This here, this line here, oops. This line here, I'm not doing it quite right. Sorry, the camera's backwards. Oh, there we go. This line here, these are the nodes of the moon. And this is the Kala Sarpa Yoga that I was talking about. In fact, let me just do that with a pen. Because then that, oh, here we are. It's going to make more sense. So here we are. Kala Sarpa Yoga. These are the nodes of the moon, Rahu and Ketu. Ketu is here, Rahu's here. All of the planets are on one side of the nodes of the moon. I mean, all of them. The only one, yeah, even Uranus. They're all on one side of the nodes of the moon. This is very rare that the outer planets are also part of this as well. And what does it mean? It means life is a bit more fated. Yeah, it's a bit more, not even a bit more, it's a lot more fated. It means dramatic events on Earth, tumultuous change. It also means that we are under the auspices of fate and destiny. Everything on planet Earth, pardon me, is very fated for now, until Mercury breaks the Kala Sarpa Yoga in around about April. Yeah, and there's important dates to talk about. What I've also done is, here where you see the numbers, now this won't necessarily make sense to you, but it's going to have to be explained. But where you see all these numbers, oh, crikey. Sorry, that the camera's not focusing so much. But if we say here, yeah, in fact, what I'll do is I'm actually going to, because it's better if I can actually see through the paper than I can see my own hands. As I point to stuff. That's better, that's better. So when we see the numbers here, what does this mean? Yeah, these numbers, what do they mean? So what I have done is, I've done something very unusual. I don't think anyone's done this before, but the idea just came to me. I'm taking this chart that you see here now, this chart here, this is where the planets will be tomorrow at the exact time when Joe Biden makes his address of the nation speech. Yeah, and I'm going to be saving Biden for last and what this could mean for him. So please stay tuned. And if you're catching up on this later, I'll do Biden at the end because this is so fateful for him. So, and Joe Biden's speech is due to happen tomorrow, Tuesday. I think, is it? Will it be the 29th? I think it will be the 29th. Is it 29th? Anyway, it's tomorrow, right? Tuesday. It's happening at 9 p.m. Eastern time in the United States. And this is where Biden is going to be addressing not only America, but really he's going to be addressing the whole world. So this is a very important speech. What the numbers show is, what I've done is I've got the individual charts. Yeah. Sorry, a bit bright. The individual charts here of Biden, Putin, Zelensky, USA, Russia, Ukraine, and I think I've even got China in there as well. Yeah. So through this presentation, I'm going to weave between the two. I do want this to go swiftly, but I also want to take a little bit of time because this is a lot of information that I'm going to be sharing with you. Going back to this chart, based on Biden's speech, what the numbers show down the side, I've given each president a color code. Putin is in red, Biden is in blue, and Zelensky is in green. Yeah, he's the youngest and the greenest. Yeah, quite literally. And what the numbers show is it will show the house, the area of life affected by this zigzag transit. Yeah, zigzag transit. So to give you an example, so here where I've put these lines in, these are the ascendants of the president. So this is Zelensky's ascendant, and in Vedic astrology, he is a Taurus ascendant, not a Gemini, Taurus. In Vedic astrology, Putin is a Libra ascendant, and that's very important. And of course, we all know by now that Joe Biden is a Scorpio ascendant. Yeah, he's a Scorpio ascendant. Oh, we've got a hello as well from Texas. Hello, Linda from Texas. So what I've done is, and I've also in brackets, I've put the houses that are affected by the countries as well, how they're affected as well. So it won't make much sense at the moment, but as I talk it through, it will make sense. Right, let's start with Vladimir Zelensky. Yeah, let's start with him and his chart and get underway. So let's just see who else. We've got Franny Smith, Linda Bishop, Plucky Heroine, which I think I said before, Jayan Anthony, Zendel, Flora, and many more. A lot of you are coming in. So thank you so much for joining. I'll just say, there we are. Someone's giving me some blessings there. Thanks so much. All right, let's get stuck in. I'm going to be and try and be, and I'm also going to do tarot as well for Putinshka. He's going to get the Nero deck. Yeah, the Bianco Nero. Zelensky and Biden will get, I'll use the radar weight, and I'll use different clarifiers going forward. All right, so let's deal with Vladimir Zelensky. Vladimir Zelensky. Here's his chart. Let me turn that light off to the side a little bit. One moment, because that is a little bit bright. Oh, crikey. You would not believe my desk. I've got so much stuff on my desk right now. It is just unreal. And sometimes things get just a bit packed because there's a lot of kit that you need to have. Just turn down the lighting a little bit. A lot of kit that you need to have to put on these shows, particularly with all the charts that I do. Okay, so here we are. This won't make much sense to people, but this is Vladimir Zelensky's chart. And I'll speak it out. The important thing to know is that he is a Taurus. He is a Taurus ascendant. There it is there in Vedic astrology. Now, what I've done is I have done what is called synastry. And synastry is when you compare two charts. And what I've done is I've put the charts of Vladimir Putin into the chart of Zelensky to see the planetary alchemy that is going on between the two. And let me tell you, it is really something. I mean, remarkable. So I'm going to get stuck in. So first of all, Zelensky, Taurus ascendant in sidereal astrology. What does that mean? Taurus is ruled by Venus, planet of peace, but sometimes also known as the planet of war. Vladimir Putin is what? He is a Libra ascendant, which also belongs to who? Venus. So what we have here are two Venusian men who are up against each other. Now, isn't that interesting? Both, Venus represents love and peace. But I want to speak about something very important, which I'm going to show you here on the transit chart. And I'm going to circle here on the State of the Union address when Biden's giving his speech tomorrow. Two very important planets are on top of each other. Yeah, and I'm going to circle it here. And here, what we see here, now the camera may or may not zoom in, hopefully it will. Here is Venus, here is Mars. Yeah, they are together. And Venus is at 2 degrees 18 minutes and Mars is at 2 degrees 43 minutes, which is what I call a perfection. Oh, there's over 300 of you here. Wow, this is amazing for a Monday. Let's see if more of you turn up. What does that mean? This is also referred to as planetary war. What's Mars? Mars is what? Aggression, passion, war. What is Venus? Peace, diplomacy, negotiation. also deals with litigation and contracts and treaties of all kinds. Now, isn't it interesting? The planet of war and peace are within a degree of each other. And I think it will continue on this way up until later on in April. I think even up until, March, maybe even April. I forgot to check the exact date. But the point is, the planet of war and peace are together. Remember, Vladimir Putin is a Libra ascendant, and Vladimir Zelensky is a Taurus ascendant. They are both ruled by Venus, and Mars is conjunct their ruling planet. So here we have two Venusian men who are at what? At war with each other. So I just found that remarkable. Also as well, when we look here, so in, now remember, what's the first house? Let's talk about the first house. This is really important. And when we're talking about mundane astrology, so the first house deals with the top of the head, deals with the physical body, the constitution, the health, personality, innate inspirations, first impressions, appearance, character, and birth into this world. And it's a Kendra and a trine. So it represents the body of someone or something. Now, when you're looking at synastry or conflict between two people, or relationship between two people, you're looking to see where the planets land. With Vladimir Zelensky, Putin's planets, Putin's moon, which represents the mind, and Ceres, which represents devotion to something, fall into Vladimir's first house. So that means literally Putin's mind is literally on Vladimir, literally on him. Yeah. And Vladimir's ascendant, which is a Taurus ascendant, falls into Vladimir Putin's 8th house. What's the 8th house? As we know, I call it what? The house of sex, death, and rock and roll. So sex, death, and rock and roll, it can deal with the private parts as a body part, but it deals with transformation, traumas, wills, surrender, life insurance, psychology, addictions, disgrace, metaphysics, bankruptcy, inheritance, shamans, taxes, corruption, money from others, astrology, life force, magnetism, karma. It deals with alchemy, conspiracy theories, scandals, and murder. Wow. Vladimir Zelensky's ascendant falls right into Vladimir Putin's 8th house. So what this shows, what this says to me is that, as we've all been saying, this is an ill-fated, ill-thought-out idea on the part of Putin. But this could be potentially ruinous for him, because literally Vladimir, as a physical presence, is activating Vladimir Putin's 8th house, where all of that stuff that we're talking about could happen. And when you think about it, it has. So much of this stuff has happened already. So let's talk a little bit about what has happened to Putin and Russia. We know, so remember, Volodymir's ascendant, him as a person, falls into Vladimir Putin's 8th house. 8th house activation. You remember what I just read off? This is what's happened to Russia so far. Now, there could be more stuff. Of course, this is going out now. It's 10:20 in the evening here on the 28th of February for me in the UK. Yeah, for me in the UK here. Is it the 28th? God, sometimes I even wonder about the date, you know. Sometimes I have to check. Yeah, Monday the 28th. So there could be more news. Anyway, so what's happening with Russia so far? Russia is now saying that someone will spend 15 years in jail if they basically tell the truth of what is going on in Russia, in Ukraine right now. Isn't that extraordinary? That in itself shows you that the regime is panicking. Yeah. Here, BP and another one of another UK firm, basically British Petroleum, they've cut ties with Russia's Gazprom. Yeah, so that, you know, that is a big problem. Let's see who else is here getting the thumbs up. I can't remember the other oil firm at the moment, but it's a significant one in the UK, and they've just cut ties. Russia's interest rates. Now, do you remember when we did the cards, when I was pulling the cards on Hodeiga, for those of you that saw it? And do you remember I got the 4 of Pentacles reversed? Do you remember in my new deck, the card turned up reversed? And I said, this means you literally, for Putin, it means like having to dig down the back of the sofa for money. Yeah. These sanctions have been a psh, 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 you know, or as we say in the Caribbean, mash up. Yeah, busted. OMG, these sanctions have been really, really tough. So basically, the Russian banks had to put up the interest rate by 20% to try and save the ruble, but everything's been blocked on the international markets. What else? The Russian ruble and economy is in free fall. And remember, I said, some people will not be able to afford McDonald's, yeah, by the end of this. I mean, it's happening already. Thank you, Sunny Intuition, for your donation. Much appreciated. Switzerland ends its historic neutrality and freezes Russian assets. Massive deal. Remember as well, money. Germany has decided to actually put forward money for armaments. They've not done that in decades. GOP and Tucker Carlson have their butts outdoors. That's what I put there. I'm actually going to talk a little bit about Tucker Carlson and his chart and what's happening, because I mentioned things would change for him, and I'm going to show you those timelines. So again, stay for that as well when I start talking about Biden. We've got Biden's State of the Union address, which I've mentioned. UEFA and FIFA, which are huge footballing bodies, have banned Russia from all international competitions. Wow. Russians love football, and you know, they love football. So this is a massive one. This is a huge one. What's this? Someone saying that they're having a shower. 1 minute. Hoping in shower while listening. Sempress, hopping in shower while I listen, since I've neglected house hygiene and sleep for the last 2.5 days. Do you know what? I don't blame you. These are truly historic times, and these are very, very strange. But to continue, Vasily Neberzia, the UN Russian ambassador, has just basically sat in front of the world and told a whole pack of lies. Yeah. Saying that Russia was being attacked and under threat. Can you believe it? There's that. And what else? I think those are the main things there. So going back to Volodymyr Zelensky and Vladimir Putin. Yeah, what's going on? Their charts are both affecting each other. One of the things I thought worth pointing out is that in Zelensky's chart, Putin has 2 planets that fall into his 8th house. So if we look here, here is Zelensky's 8th house. Again, it's a little bit blurry, but I want to show you who's here. So in Zelensky's chart, in his 8th house, he's got planet Mercury, which is the planet of communication. And he's got Ceres, which is the asteroid of devotion. But it also means trying to win something back or losing something. It deals with the energy of Demeter, the Greek Roman goddess for fertility, and the Earth Mother, and Persephone, her daughter, who was abducted. So Ceres can also deal with loss and abduction. It's a very, very important planet. And for Zelensky, Ceres, with Mercury, planet of communication, is in his 8th house. And we know the 8th house is what? Sex, death, and rock and roll. Losing something. Who's making him lose something? Putin. Putin's Mars and Putin's Chiron, the wounded healer, falls into Zelensky's 8th house. So do you see how both men are turning up in each other's 8th houses? This means this is fated. This has got a lot to do with transformation on both sides. So what's happening is both of these men, who are both ruled by Venus, are having this effect on each other where they're transforming each other's lives and countries. But we know who the aggressor is. What is fascinating is in Zelensky's chart, he's got Uranus in the 6th house. And what does the sixth house deal with? This is what this now. Uranus is the planet of sudden shocks and surprises. It's the planet of liberation, and it can lead to beautiful things, but something horrible often happens first. Isn't that interesting? So remember, this is Uranus is in Zelensky's sixth house in his natal chart. And I should also say he's born on the 25th of the 1st, 1978 at 2 o'clock in Kryvyi Rog, yeah, in Ukraine. So there's that. And like I said, that makes him a Taurus ascendant. Now, what's the sixth house? The sixth house deals with health and overcoming obstacles. He's got Uranus there, planet of sudden shocks and surprises in the sixth house. So it deals with health and overcoming obstacles. As I said, it deals with pets, divorce, lawsuits, divorce. That's quite interesting. Debts, food and diets. It's almost like a divorce between Russia and Ukraine. Practical skills. It deals with debts. It deals with accidents, thieves. It deals with enemies. Challenging competition, police and military. You see, you can't make this stuff up, yeah? It deals with service, production lines. It deals with hotels and restaurants. It deals with saints and sinners, therapies of all kinds, and repetitive tasks and practical skills. What's been on the production line at the moment in the Ukraine? The ordinary people have been trained to make what? Molotov cocktails. Who is the enemy right now that is affecting Zelensky? Putin. Guess where Putin's ascendant falls? So this is Putin's body. Where does Putin's body go in Zelensky's chart? Goes to the sixth house. There it is. So here we can see Putin is physically Zelensky's enemy, and Putin has got Venus in the first house, and Putin's Venus and Zelensky's Uranus are only a few degrees apart. Zelensky's Uranus is at 22 degrees 33 minutes. Putin's Venus is at 18 degrees 30 minutes. So do you see? They're both in each other's eighth houses of transformation. And Zelensky is in Putin's eighth house physically. And for Zelensky, Putin is in his sixth house physically. Both deal with what? Death, transformation, enemies, fighting. Isn't that remarkable? So we'll see how that goes. Now, I will move on a little bit. I'll move on a little bit, because that's just to explain that dynamic. And I don't want it all just to be astrology, because we also need to get onto Biden as well. So let's pull. I'm going to pull some cards for Zelensky just to see how he's getting on. And honestly, you would not believe my desk. And then we're going to talk a bit about how all of these leaders, global leaders, are being affected. And we're going to talk about the countries as well to squeeze it all in. All right, guys, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Over 400 of you now. Thank you so much for joining me. Someone's saying here, hi, Hogarth, beautiful twinkly souls. Love that. Yeah, it's the middle of the workday on the West Coast. Yeah, I know, guys. Sorry. Let's see. Hogarth, check your Facebook and Instagram for a time-sensitive message from me trying to send you free tickets on an event in London. Oh, all right. I'll have to try. Thank you. Why not? I'll have to try after the show, because as you know, I am in the flow right now. Okay, so let's pull some cards for Zelensky. Yeah, let's pull some cards. Now, I know we've pulled for him already, etc., but such is the fluid situation. And goodness gracious me, I barely have space on my desk in front of me here. So, Zelensky, yeah, I'm going to pull for him 5 cards. And of course, for those of you that are not able to join, then of course the recording will, of course, upload as usual, and you can join it later. But there's already quite a lot of you here. I'm impressed. So thank you so much for joining. All right, let's see. Right. Let's say, what does the future hold for Volodymyr Zelensky? All right, Volodymyr Zelensky. Now, look, I'm going to pull the camera down. and do another little shuffle here. And I'm going to pick 5 cards for Zelensky and then Putin. And then we're going to talk about Biden as well, because this is so important for him, all of this. And then we'll look at the countries as well. Okay, Zelensky. And let me just make sure you can see that. See, look, I barely have any space here on this desk. On this one, okay, Zelensky. What's going on for Volodymyr Zelensky? All right. Let's see what we have here. Let's turn over the old cards. Ooh, very interesting. All right. So, Volodymyr Zelensky. The first card I get for him is the 6 of Cups. This is a card about nostalgia. It's about nostalgia, but it's also as well about camaraderie and a sense of innocence. So in a way, Zelensky has become this hero by being pure-hearted. He's kind of evoked, he's evoked in Ukrainians a sense of nostalgia and camaraderie and coming together. Yeah. So there is that sense of his ideals of the Ukraine and what it could become. Also as well, this is also a card of family, and he's also directly applied recently to become an immediate member of the EU. Yeah. But what's his obstacle? He's having to what? Hold his resources close. He is under siege. This is the card of protection, trying to protect your assets. It's a 4 card. The 4th card tends to deal with things, material resources as well, particularly when it comes to this card here. So obviously, what is he doing? He's trying to protect the Ukraine. You can literally see this is him. Like it's literal, isn't it? This is him, a dark-haired man trying to protect his homeland. This is causing huge emotional strife and upheaval, not only for him, but the whole country. You can imagine they're under siege, they're being attacked, but they are very brave nonetheless. As we know, the Russians have not been able to they're making progress, but not nearly as much as they would hope to. Yeah. If we look here, we've got the Queen of Cups. Now, normally we can actually refer to this cup as you know, to do with the virus and stuff like that. But that's not the situation here. Here it is. This can talk about vulnerability. When the Queen of Cups is reversed, it speaks about vulnerability. So, of course, in the context of the emotions, they're under attack, they're feeling vulnerable, and they need support. This is also a card which talks about a person needing support. Again, makes absolute sense. But look, the outcome card is the Moon. So it means things aren't quite clear at the moment. It is a fluid situation. There's lots of lies and propaganda are going around from the Russian side. Of course, in particular, they're trying to kind of basically lie about things. But it also shows there's a lot going on underneath the surface. It's yet to emerge what may fully happen in regards to Zelensky and his situation. So his fate is not 100% clear, but we will kind of talk about his chart again, because he does have powerful things going on in his chart. Okay. Let me just do a few more readouts. Let's see. We got Sunny Intuition, Punambola. Oh, hello from France. Hello, Mercy. Thank you very much for joining us. What's this? Oh, 12 Russian Oh, yeah, here we are. So someone's saying, Harley Girl saying 12 Russian diplomats were kicked out of the UN for abusing their powers, possibly for spying. Oh, my goodness. And then Nancy's saying, yes, we must protect President Zelensky. Even some British volunteers have heeded the call and are going over to Ukraine to help fight for the Ukrainians. Can you believe it? It's astonishing. Let's see as well. Let's see. And there's a few of you here all piling in, brilliant, and saying hello to each other. And someone's saying here, Black Artemis, thanks so much for all that you do. Keep it up, bub. Thank you. So there's that. Now, I'm going to pull on Putin. But for him, It is the Bianco Nero. Yeah. You know, you need dark cards for dark people. You know, I shouldn't even laugh because the man is so wicked. It's just so wicked. But here we are. Okay, so Putinshka. What is going on with the Baba Yaga, who seems to have, I think what he's going to do is this. Baba Yaga, like a bear with a sore head, is going to try and press forward with more attacks. He's already embarrassed at what's happened. Yeah, he's already embarrassed. The ruble is falling. Like I said, they're not going to be able to afford McDonald's. I know this is going to be difficult against the Russian people, but it is also going to be a massive wake-up call as well because their media is in full-scale propaganda. Okay, so Putinshka, what's going on with him? Bring the camera down. These cards are so nice and new. And again, thank you, Lizette, for these cards. All right, Putinshka. What is the outcome for Putinshka? What's going to happen for Putinshka? Make sure you can see the cards. What's going to happen for Putinshka? All right. Let's see what's going on. Put these cards back. Literally, I've got so many cards. Look, I've got my rider weights, and then I've got these ones here. And let's do a little flip. Oh, ooh, look at this. Well. Okay, right. The first card we get here, it is the Six of Swords. Guess what? Oh, just over 500 of you now. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. Putinshka is feeling like he wants to leave. Yeah. Believe it or not, inwardly, he's not going to say it. He feels like he wants to leave because this is now a very hot and sweaty situation. Yeah. Because those sanctions, because remember as well, the sanctions also affect the 600 billion or whatever he had in international currencies. That's all been cut off as well. So he's literally got no money. Yeah. You know, he's got whatever residuals, but remember, his assets are frozen. Everyone's assets have been frozen. Look what's the obstacle for him. The Hanged Man. Isn't that interesting? Because what? The Russians have not been able to progress as quickly as they would have liked. Remember, the Hanged Man is what? It's a stuck card. And here he's being forced to look at things from a different perspective. Isn't that interesting? Forced to look at things from a different perspective because the situation has changed. The next card that he gets is the Lovers. And you notice this is the second major arcana. So the Lovers, what's that going to be about? Bit of a saucy card, isn't it? The Lovers is about choices. It means making fateful choices. This is also as well, he's having to reassess what? His relationships with the outside world. Look what's been happening. Everyone has been what? Abandoning him. Yeah, because they're seeing the situation and they're like, oh my God, don't want any of that. If anything, it's everyone else who is kind of rapidly rowing away from Putin because the situation has changed. But next we get the Sun. Now, for Zelensky, he had the moon, which shows that things around him might be uncertain. But look, the truth is coming out. Soon, the Russians are going to find out exactly what's going on. Because trust me, if you go to the cash point and then all of a sudden the ruble is like, you know, is like monopoly money, people are going to wake up. So the illumination of the world is looking at the moment at Putin, and what he gets is the Empress card as the outcome. And again, this could speak about, you know, Mother Russia. So what I think it is that I think Russia, everyday Russians are going to start waking up. I think they're going to realize what a situation that they're in, and they're going to have to make some moves. Let me just pull, I'm going to pull two clarifiers to see potentially what moves the Russian people may make. Look at this. I've got so many. all my different packs. I'm using the cat pack. Right, okay, let's see what's going on here. That's the back of the cards. Let me pull two clarifiers. What will the Russian people think about their new situation on Skid Row, which has been forced upon them by Putin and these incredible sanctions that have fallen down? All right, what's going on? Let's pull a clarifier. Oh, yeah, just so you can see, pulling from here. Oh, that one wants to come out. Okay, wow, I'm working with 3 decks. Who said men can't multitask? Oh, now this is interesting. So we've got the Ace of Wands, but we've also got the 2 of Swords that's turned up. So what this suggests is the Ace of Wands is new beginnings. New beginnings going out in a new, bold and interesting way. But obviously they're facing new beginnings in certain ones that they've not expected. And this puts them in a state of confusion and not being sure what to do. So what this says to me is that the Russian people are not going to be sure what to do about the situation that they now find themselves in, because this has been sprung upon them super, super quickly. Right, look at the time. Look at that, 41 minutes already. We're going to talk about Biden. Yeah, we're going to talk about Joe Biden. Now, as you know, as I've been saying, now let's get Joe Biden's chart up. I have a quick slurp here. This is an extremely interesting time for Biden right now, and I'll explain why. Here's his chart. Now we know, I have the big chart here, but the important thing is that he's a Scorpio ascendant. Yeah, Scorpio ascendant, and for him, in Russia's chart, Ketu. I don't know. I think I'm just ignore that because this is a slightly different chart. Now, remember what I was saying, that what's been difficult for Biden is that he's been having Ketu go through his first house. And you remember the first house represents you, the body, you're standing, in the world. And remember, Ketu is what? Snip, snip. Yeah, we all know this. We all know this. Now, this is important to know. The nodes of the moon are going to change signs, which means Ketu is going to move out of Joe Biden's first house. When does that happen? This is going to happen on the 17th of March at 1:31 UK time. That's when Ketu is going to go from Biden's first house backwards into his 12th house. Yeah, 12th house. So first house, 12th house. Now, what's the 12th house? Let me quickly read this for you. Now, this can mean many things, but I'm going to read it out. It deals with escape and endings, the 12th house. It deals with loss, retirement, rest, deep research, foreign lands. It deals with secrets, holidays overseas, confusion, spiritual retreats, hospitals, foreign income, prison, secret affairs, bed pleasures, expenses, past life, islands, hidden enemies, watery places, surrender, addictions, the feet, charity, forests, self-undoing, and outer space. Yeah, and you're probably thinking, oh my goodness. So what can that mean? We can see how snip, snip has affected Biden's numbers. Yeah, as I said, it would be the case. I know no one wanted to hear it, but we all know it's true. But could there be relief? Could there be relief? Because if the 12th house is the house of hidden enemies, he's going to have what? Snip, snip going through. Could this be the snip, snip of Joe Biden's enemies? Could it be? Could it be? This could be one of the effects. Also as well, it deals with spirituality. So this is also, oh, that's so funny. Someone's just told me. So Nancy just said, Hoagie, Zelensky means green. I didn't know that. And that's the color I picked for him. You see, you know, tuning in, all of that, all of that kind of stuff. So I want to, if we look at this on the hopeful side, this could be where snip snip actually starts to, because the 12th house is an international house. It also means foreign lands. It's the land of far, far away. It's the house of spirituality. Technically, Ketu can pick up strength in that 12th house. So let's hope that this is a progression where basically Biden can take the opportunity to kind of do a snip on his enemies abroad. But not only enemies abroad, it's hidden enemies. It could also refer to what? The GOP. Yeah. And for him, this falls into the sign of Libra. If you're Scorpio ascendant, the 12th sign away is actually Libra, which deals with also as well the legal profession. What has Biden just done? He's just appointed a new person to court. I think I wrote her name down. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. Right. Interesting. So we kind of need to kind of look at that. Let's see as well. Also as well, Biden is going to have to address inflation. Do you remember how I said, well, I've been saying actually since April of last year, but particularly with that lunar full moon eclipse that we had, I think, which was back in November, I said, what's going to happen? We're going to be dealing with things like inflation. And of course, as the sanctions kick in, petrol, of course, is going to become more expensive. So, you know, we will see prices continue to rise. However, it's now happening for a good cause. I think we can all agree, not that it necessarily makes life easier, but if we put ourselves in the shoes of the Ukrainians, oh my goodness, imagine what's going on there. And also as well, think of what's going to happen as well to innocent Russians as well, those who, you know, don't support what is going on, and they're also being lied to. My goodness, they're going to be very strongly affected as well. Oh my goodness, someone's just replied here. Look at this. I can't say that My Caribbean Life, it says here, but look, there's some Cyrillic, I think, here. I read today that one of the Gazprom CEOs was found hanged in his garage, probably suicide. Oh my goodness. Do you see how that I mean, that's obviously terrible for him and his family. But when this bad news really starts to break in Russia, this is not good. This is not good for Putin. So what else as well will Biden be looking at? Obviously, there'll be things he's going to be talking about, the pandemic and progress on that. Do you remember how I said that things will begin to change, you know, as we get into that April? I also said as well, I said a huge truth is going to dawn upon the world. I think this is part of it. This invasion is waking a lot of people up. I think we could agree, and countries. So when we look here, when we look here at the zigzag, yeah, it means these planets here. So it means Venus, planet of trade and goods, Mars, planet of war, Pluto, planet of the underworld, oligarchy, dark money, Mercury, planet of media and communication, and Saturn, planet of governments and rules and regulations. They're all in that huge stellium in the sign of Capricorn. Then here, the top part of the zigzag, we have the moon, which represents the people, the sun, which represents leaders and authority, Jupiter, which represents spirituality, higher purpose, and Neptune, which represents spirituality as well, but illusions and delusions and lies and gaslighting. They're all together as well. So this is going to have, we are in historic times. Okay, so where's this falling for Biden? This zigzag for Biden is falling into his third house and his fourth house. What does that mean? The third house is the house of communication, talking with other people. How pertinent he's going to make the address to the nation tomorrow. I want to say to you guys, hands down, this is the most important speech of Biden's life. What he says in this speech, how he delivers this speech, could define the future of his presidency, how it goes, and the situation on the war in Russia. And what I would say, do you remember what I said? Ketu is going to force him. I said he's going to have to do something. I know it's unpolite to say, but it's the best word to describe it. Ketu is causing a shit or bust situation. Yeah. You either kind of or you explode. Yeah. This is this moment. It's still going through Biden's first house, but it's at the tail end. It's coming to the real crucial parts. So Biden has to put absolutely everything he has to say in this speech, and he needs to shoot down a lot of those certain people on the GOP and Foxtrot. Yeah. Oh, look, it's 572 now. Now, this is crucial. He has to take this opportunity because the reality check is this, is that they've all thrown their lot in with Putinshka. Yeah, they've all thrown their lot in terms of leadership. I mean, obviously a few haven't, but you know what I mean? Broadly speaking, you know, Duc Larange was calling Putinshka a genius the other day, and all these people have been coming out, Russia, Russia. They play Tucker Carlson now on Russian state TV. Now they need to choose. Are you with your country or are you with the enemy? Yeah, very simple question. Tucker Carlson, let's talk a little bit about him. I've got his chart as well. What have I done with this chart? Here we go. I'll put all my cards and stuff on top. Honestly, I've got so many different bits and bobs. So if we go here, I'm going to get in Tucker Carlson and I'm going to talk about the countries. So here's Tucker Carlson's chart. Look at him on my playlist. Now, something important. Now, this is what I said in this video, which I did back in the summer. I think it was August 2021. And if you look here, this is, oh, God, where am I? The camera's backwards. Let me just put, here we are. All right, here, this is the Mahadasha timing sequence. And you see it says Jupiter, Rahu, and then it goes SASA. What does that mean? It means Tucker Carlson has just started his Saturn Mahadasha, grand period. Saturn's what? I call Saturn what? Balloon popper. Pop, 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 pop. It means a reality check. And I said his fate and fortunes would start to change from the 17th of January, 2022. There it is. So you can see, there it is. Yeah. Will it zoom? Maybe it won't zoom. Never mind. So, like I said, 17th of January, 2022, the tide was going to start turning on him. Now look. I think in the video I said it's going to be something to do with some relationship. I thought it may have been an affair, but well, you never know. But again, for entertainment purposes only. But it was something to do with relationships, if I recall correctly. But I've not seen that video since I made it back in August. So we see the tide is turning. Why? Look at this, because everyone is now starting to call, you know, certain people out. What basically Foxtrot is what? The mouthpiece of the GOP. And he's been advocating for who? Putinshka. Not looking so good now, is it? So going back to this zigzag. So for Biden, it's happening in his third house of communication and his fourth house, which deals with what? Homeland, the heart. Speaking from the heart, the emotions. So Biden is doing what? The national address. Third house and fourth house, where he's what? Speaking to the nation. But guess what? This is also falling in the same houses for the Ukraine, because the Ukraine also has a Sagittarius ascendant in their chart in Vedic astrology. So again, this is what? Zelensky speaking to what? His homeland, speaking to everyone, the whole world, saying, come and defend us. Yeah. Third house, house of communications of all kinds. Fourth house, homeland, security, stuff like that. He's doing what? The same on behalf of his country. For Zelensky, the zigzag falls into his 9th house and into his 10th house. The 9th house is a house of luck, higher purpose, dharma. It also deals with the law and righteousness. He's being held internationally as a hero right now, isn't he? And it also falls into his 10th house. And the 10th house in mundane astrology is the public perception. Yeah, public perception. One standing on the world stage. So you can see the energy of Ukraine and the energy of the USA is in the same place. It's happening in the same place. Isn't that remarkable? Wow, 600 of you now. Amazing. Thank you guys for joining me. So isn't that interesting? Let's do a few more shout outs. We've got Catherine Bennett. We've got Shivani Dumas, which is saying, she's saying, thank you, saying hello and thank you for updating. No problem. Who else? We've got Sharon Saipe. We've got Mimi. So many of you are here. So the energies for the Ukraine and America are energizing the same houses: communication, speeches, and talking to the homeland. Voila. But where's this happening for Putin? For Putin, this is happening for him in his 4th house, like I said, in the heart chakra, and the 5th house. The 5th house, the 4th house is what? Homeland. What is happening? Putin is taking Russia to war, but also as well, he's got the planet of war and peace in his homeland. What's happening now? The sanctions are starting to bite. Russia is going into turmoil. It's also happening in Putin's 5th house. And this is, it's happening in Putin's 5th house. The 5th house is where we get counsel and advice from others. And Neptune is in there. He's been poorly advised. He was over optimistic. Jupiter here. Jupiter for a Libra ascendant is not the best planet in the world because it rules the 3rd house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 3rd house and the 6th house. 3rd house is communication, 6th house is health and overcoming obstacles, enemies. So Jupiter is expanding on Putin's problems. The 5th house is where we get advice from others, and we can see he's not been getting great advice. Jupiter is gurus, and it's with Neptune, and they're going to come closer and closer together. He's been getting poor advice. But where does this fall for Russia? In Russia's chart, this grand conjunction is happening in their 10th house, Capricorn, which is the world stage. So Russia's reputation is what? Taking a beating. And the other part of the zigzag is happening in the 11th house, which is the house of hopes and dreams and great gains. Money, big money. What's happened now to Russia? Huge sanctions. Yeah, huge sanctions. They're losing huge amounts of money. The ruble devalued by 30% in one day. So the Russian banks have had to raise interest rates by to 20%. Imagine if you've got a mortgage and suddenly your interest rate has gone to 20%. You're not going to be able to afford your mortgage. People might even get evicted, from their homes. But just to add a little extra flavor as we come up to the hour, this is all also happening in China's 1st house. Yeah, this zigzag. They are a Capricorn ascendant. China is reassessing itself in the eyes of the world, but my goodness, they're paying very close attention to the sanctions and maybe thinking twice. And the second part of the zigzag falls into their 2nd house, which is with what? Money and values and stuff like that. So they're going to be paying a very close attention to what is happening in Russia right now. We know Putin's going in with his aggression, but the Russian economy is now in free fall. The ruble has been devalued, and it's going to be hard for it to sustain its value because so much has been locked off. Like someone said already, that person, unfortunately, from one of the oil and gas has already committed suicide. Yeah, you can imagine this person really could see what was going to happen, or probably even feared the reprisals. Imagine when the Russian people are starting to have to queue for bread again, and resources, food, petrol. It's going to be like the worst. It's going to be like the fall of the Soviet Union again, all over again. Do you think they're going to thank Putinshka for that? I don't think so. But also as well, to round up for Zelensky, all of these planets are happening in his 9th house. So this is his apotheosis. In his chart, I could see that he has got here, this is very important, Saturn conjunct the star Regulus in his 4th house, which is his heart and the homeland. Regulus is the heart of the lion. Bravery. What has he done? He's been extraordinarily brave, and he's been considered a hero. They also say when Saturn, or what I found is when Saturn is in the sign of Leo, a person can have an imposter syndrome. Remember, he was a comedian, a director, and all of that kind of stuff. Everyone would have been saying he wasn't up for the job. But now that has been blasted away, because this Saturnian test that he has got has proved to him that he truly is a leader. I'm not saying that he would have had these doubts in public, but maybe within his heart, he may have had some doubts. But now he has absolutely proved himself. And for Biden, just to close, this is the time now for the speech of Biden's life. I mean it. This is the speech of Biden's life. This will decide a lot of things for how the future will go, but he needs to call it out. He needs to call out certain people, you know, in GOP and Foxtrot, and who've just been backing, you know, just being absolutely outrageous with certain things. I'm not saying all sides are perfect. We know that they're not, but there's been egregious stuff kind of going on. This is his chance. Will this finally boost his ratings when Snip Snip moves out of his 1st house on the 17th of March? We shall see. Will Snip Snip start defeating his enemies, or how will the pressure affect him? Can he stand up to the pressure of all of this intensity that is going on right now on the global stage? We shall have to see how it happens. And with that, I need to bring the show to a close. Look at that, an hour has gone already, just gone over an hour. So I want to say thank you to everyone for joining. Thank you for the donations and everything like that. Thank you for joining me. It was over 600 of you in the end on a Monday at short notice. I find that remarkable. Of course, everyone else can catch up when they can. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you so much too for everyone who's joined in. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, or have a membership, join in, and you can learn as well about Vedic astrology and all those other good things. And I will see you guys soon for the next Hodiga. And I've got some fun. I've got some props coming. They're coming in the post. So watch out for that one. Love and light to everyone. Stay hopeful. Let's put our prayers forward to the Ukraine. And well-meaning Russians as well. You know, they're gonna be suffering quite a lot, but especially for the Ukrainians. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me, and I will see you soon. All right, cheers. Bye-bye, everyone.